just come down a traditional walk, the local woods. It's New Year's Day, so let me take this opportunity first of all to say a happy new year to every one of my followers and subscribers, everyone that's left a good comment on the page throughout the videos this year. As you saw, yesterday was one way to finish an old year and to begin afresh on a new year. Literally the last day of 2018. Unbeknown to me what was going to happen, and with a very much shock and surprise, I ended up in about 4 or 5 national newspapers over here in the UK, and also online with the Lad Bible. That's as much as I know so far. I've got one of these new selfie sticks, the 3 gimbal axes I'll need to show you, but I don't have the tripod, so this is handheld. But I was working yesterday and I never checked my phone for a good few hours, and then I had an abundance of notifications from Facebook, from emails, and when I checked it out, it was clear that the topic and the news article that I was speaking to a journalist about last week or two kind of went everywhere. So just to put some perspective on it, I never spoke to anyone from the Daily Record, neither from the Metro, neither from Lad Bible, or Daily Mail, or any other ones that apparently I know I was in. I spoke to a journalist. It turns out he was a student, and it wasn't the first time I've done it. A couple of months ago I was on the BBC Radio Scotland. That went quite well, I thought. A couple of weeks ago I was in the Sun newspaper, and to their due, they kind of kept to what more or less was discussed in a way, although it was very much condensed. But whatever's happened with these other papers, what was privately interviewed with a man down in Manchester, apparently was from a private small time paper. Turns out he was a student and more or less was freelance. Never heard from him for over a week, and then yesterday says that's it on now. A few have picked it up. It was more a positive way, the fact that it get exposed in that, and naturally felt a little bit excited about that, you know, just for the sake of being in the paper or getting more traffic to the channel and things like that. Why not? But ended up a lot of trolls come out the shadows, and surprisingly a lot of these trolls were on the Facebook pages, like to do with the preppers and bushcraft and that. Last place you'd expect to find fellow like-minded people. More on that in a minute. But I gave up after a while. I was finishing the shift, I was ready to go to a house party, celebrate Hogmanay, the bells, be with your friends and family and such. And I think they kind of got carried away and they forgot the day it was, you know. Got better things to do in life, but especially on New Year's Eve. But the whole thing, I mean, this isn't, as you can tell, I'm just speaking away here. But from what I can remember from memory, the photographs for starters, people are on about the photographs. The titles, which were cringeworthy. And who's hunting squirrels? Come on, you nuts? So basically, I'm going to try and remember as best as I can what this private interview was on the phone as I was hands-free driving to work a couple of weeks ago. Why are you a prepper? Well, I believe I'm a prepper because the times that we're living in is very uncertain. There's a lot more hype building up with Russia. Russia's always been a key for the prophecy side of my channel and that, which is more common. But they were really focused on the Brexit. I'm like, well, the main thing about Brexit is uncertainty. The way the media portray it anyway, the government and the deals and the companies, it's just an absolute shambles. And their pride's probably going to make them fall if they don't look at a second referendum maybe or whatever. I'm not very politically minded right now, just for getting on with other things in life. But the way it's been portrayed is certainly it's not looking good, or it's very confusing. And that's one of the worst things for human beings to have, is uncertainty and confusion. And that's what more or less I said. And from that, you're probably looking, any guarantee what might come would be your protests. Big protests in the capitals, especially around Parliament and things. We've seen it many times, from fox hunting to several years ago with the riots spread into a few major cities. Why would that not happen with Brexit if we're uncertain of what's happened, or if it's a no deal that makes the economy much worse? The value of the pounds went down, and import tax and your foods and everything else is going to skyrocket. And things that I remembered from that, such as the Icelandic volcano a few years back there erupted. All the flights get grounded for days. And yet I remember in the news it was something like 11,000 tonnes of food are flown into Britain every single day. The government had to put in contingency plans that they were prepared for in anything like this. So if it's the case that's the amount of food coming in, what's the pricing going to be like if end up there's a no deal or it's not the deal that we want? So that would make us more careful and savvy with our money, as well as the food that we have and what we buy. And I think that bit stands true. I think we're a very wasteful society. And what I mean by that is we eat the food that we have and everything goes in the bin. I remember the Bisto advert, they stopped doing it because they found that families weren't sitting around the dining table having a meal as a family anymore in front of the TVs, and everything goes in the bin. I think it'll go back to the generation of our grandparents, is you make good proper home comfort food and you save the leftovers for your next meal and make something out of it. We'll be more humbled and more appreciative of what we have, rather than being a greedy, wasteful society. So I think that's a good thing that could come about, and how we can easily adapt to that. And this is more or less how it came across when I was speaking to the journalist. And more or less that's what I was kind of speaking about, is uncertainty, and they probably would see protests coming through, the confusion or not getting the deal that they wanted. How's it going to, I mean, it might come in March, what's to happen with Brexit, but what about June, July, this time next year, the aftermath? Where's the economy? We've got through one of the worst recessions in history. I'm sure we'll get through Brexit just fine. That's what more or less the point is. But the trolls kind of got onto all this based in the titles, and I can see where it comes from. As I'm ready for Brexit, I'm going up hunting deer and squirrel. I mean, who makes this up? What I was basically saying was, as the conversation progressed, and much of what I did discuss with them wasn't even recorded on the papers, but in a certain situation where you had to survive off the land, and granted, let's say it was Scotland, how would you survive? Well, obviously in the wilderness you're looking to survive, but what's the main things we've got to hunt here from wild game? Deer would be the obvious, and some survival guides like the SS Survival Handbook, it shows you how to trap crows and gut them, same with squirrels and any other types of food. That's more or less what it was said, but instead all these other people from wherever newspapers and lad bible they came from have basically turned around and says, I'm planning for Brexit and I'm going up to the hills to hunt squirrels. Why would I want to do that? Why would anyone want to do that? How do you get a job by publishing that? So it really did give me a taste of fake news, and it also gave me a taste of how gullible people are as well. I mean, talk about, I've never been one for the zombie apocalypse, but when you've seen the trolls on these prepper pages yesterday, and the Daily Record Facebook page, I saw a few, and any other place, it's like, where on earth would you actually believe that? Why would you think that's true? But instead of logically thinking about it, or saying, nah, this guy's been set up, or really squirrels, why squirrels, I don't understand, you know, all these survival books say this or that. I mean, be logical about it, be educational, you know, it's about community spirit, but instead they just went on it like flies to that. Poo. Try not to swear on my channel, you know. But if the zombie apocalypse has appeared on Earth, then it's already in place, because that was a real eye-opener to just how gullible people are from what they read in fake news. So try to think off by memory what else there is to talk about. The pictures. The pictures are the one with the tents. None of them are my tents. That's the Scots Wild Camper, the Scottish Wanderer, and Mark McFarlane out in the wild, the guys I was recently up in Loch Ness with and Loch Rannoch camping. You can see the video there from a couple of months ago. Also, what was the other photographs? Yeah, the one with me with all the food in my living room. Originally that was from the Sun newspaper, and asked the photographer to take a couple in my own phone, and that's the one I sent down to this guy in Manchester. And the whole joke behind holding the haggis and things like that is because I was actually going to do a comedy video, being at this time of year, and I was going to do like hunting haggis in Scotland and things like that, because I know a lot of people kind of say you should do stuff like that, but I never did, and I ended up eating it. The Johnny Walker, yep, get a good bit into that. My sweet mother came back from holiday a few weeks ago and she brought me that over as a gift. She was away a week. I've had a few more extra whiskies, which I'll be toasting to you shortly in the new year. I'll show you them all. And finally the one with the gun. Now what that was a year or two ago. The friends and I were all paintballing, and one of the guys that we met there, who wasn't with us, had a few rifles in the back of his pickup truck, and I had seen a few and I held that one. It felt really nice. And I said, any chance to just get a picture with it? And more or less I just get a picture holding the gun at paintball. Some are saying it's airsoft, BB gun, whatever, but some of the stuff he had in there was proper rifles. But that's the one I picked up and held. It's not my gun. Don't have a gun. It's something I was looking to get with a licence, but I don't know about now. So that's me setting the record straight with stuff like that. The army ration boxes I've had for at least a couple of years, and they're getting close to their sell-by date, and I'm just using them in camps now. My main prepping plans will always be kept secret. I ain't stupid. I'm educated, 2 universities, as well as researching further into this. I've got the train tracks to life to know what I want to do. I've lived abroad a few years while studying as well. A few other things in life I've done that I ain't stupid. I'm completely confident. And yeah, like the trolls were saying, even when they found onto my channel, you know, I've got moobs. It's probably the only truthful thing that came from it. You know, but I'm working on that too as a New Year's resolution. Whoop, watch this space. So, what else was there? I'm just thinking of a few of the comments when they were speaking about guns and the photos and things like that. That is what it is, but I just wanted to set it straight. Oh yeah, the £2 worth of food apparently I have. If I was going to spend £2 in food, I'd make it count and have a great night somewhere really posh. But no, the £2 is basically the gear. Now as you can see, I'm wearing a Rab down jacket. £180 straight away. I've got the Bergus waterproof jacket that I did get for a steal, about 160 odd. I've got the Southern Cross 2 Terra Nova Southern Cross 2 tent. Got that in sale at about £400. The Van Gogh Banshee was my first tent, which I pitched down here behind me 4 or 5 years ago. It's my most popular video, my first solo camp. The trolls were speaking about that as well. Even getting called a chav and stuff. That tent at the time was £120. The walking boots, if you've seen me doing the West Highland Way with the rucksacks, all the gear, the bags, the Van Gogh dry bags. I had to change my boots to the Meindl boots, 180 odd quid or something. You add it up. I've got the iMac where I do my videos on, the selfie stick, the tripod, the cameras. I bought a brand new DJI Mavic Pro drone. I think we're talking more than a couple of grand actually. But a lot of it's based on the enjoyment of doing the videos. I love getting up those hills, get the drone up, get some really beautiful sightseeing. I love the country. But more of that coming, but I want to get back in the woods. I miss the woods. I've got the DD hammock, of course. I've got a couple of their tarps, snake skins that came with it, paracord, everything you saw in the picture anyway, plus much more. So it ain't £2 in food. It was £2 worth of gear, which, rhyming off the top of my head, if the trolls can work out the math, you know, kind of adds up quite a bit, quite fast. And that's been over the past 5 years. So I do have plans for what I want this year on YouTube. I've got plans for what I want to buy, what I want to get. I love the camper van. I went through quite a bit of phase the last 2 months, really thinking whether to get the camper van or not, or just get a good proper truck, because I'm due to change, get into the bug out vehicle side of things a bit more. But I don't have any sponsorships currently as this day. I don't have anybody giving me money. I don't have anybody. Everything is based on my own expense, which I save up for through working, and that's what I buy. You should watch out most of my recent videos. I was away up north in the hills. I like to get into the training. When I'm going to get more gym footage, get back into good proper training, rope climbs, truck tires, the weights, get back into cardio again. I've had a big cracking Voodoo Bazango bike, mountain bike in the house. I haven't been out in months either. So I've got everything I need, everything to do. Do I think Russians are going to invade because of Brexit, as the papers were putting out, or how the trolls took it? No. But do I think war with Russia is more likely with the West? Well, yeah. You know, watched the biggest military manoeuvres between Russia and China a couple of weeks ago, the biggest ever in history. The fact that the Western alliances with America, UK and everywhere else has basically surrounded them, with all the other countries have invaded since 9/11. Come on, wake up, play a game of Rome Total War and you'll actually see how it works. If that can't educate you, I don't know what will. But there's a lot of big hype right now about Brexit, and in fact, after seeing some of those messages and notifications yesterday, Talk Radio was on trying to get a hold of me, which I haven't responded yet. I think I need to kind of get myself together. But it's yesterday's news. I'm probably getting wrapped up in a fish and chips bag right now, and it is what it is. But I just want to say to all my subscribers, thank you very much for your support. Thank you very much for everything you're feeding back. When I see those comments, what you've loved about the videos, what you really like, it does mean a lot, and I'm going to keep more of that coming, balancing it between the prepping and the camping and things, as I always says I would do. And I would say to the trolls that come out there, this is the only time I'm really looking to bother with you, because you're not worth it. And I'm really surprised to see how many trolls are in the prepper groups, to be honest. Think they know all, they've got clout and they've got authority somehow and expertise, but really you're just keyboard gangsters. And to spend your hug money of all nights being the way you were, all the best. But I couldn't have, if you look at my graphs from yesterday, thanks to you especially, it's like Ryanair publicity. Any publicity is good. And thanks to your shares, your negative comments, and checking out the channel and sharing my other videos to slag me off, thank you so much for boosting my popularity on YouTube. I couldn't have done it without you. All the best for the new year, and get it right up, yeah.